Right after unboxing the Pixel 4 XL, it became clear that there are a ton of new settings and features available with the Pixel 4 and Android 10. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the first 10 things that you should adjust to make the most out of your Pixel 4. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to Tech with Brett, where I help tech work for you. So during the setup, you will go through a lot of these things, but I want to make sure that you're prepared before you set up your device or even after you set up the device. So first up, we're going to make sure that we transfer all the data from our old phone to the new phone. Now there are a few ways to do this. If you still need to go through the setup, you can use the OTG cable to do that. So this is a USB-C to a full USB where you plug this into your phone and then get the cable for your other phone and plug it in, and then it can pull over all that data. I have a video all about how to do that with the Note 9 to a Pixel. You can also do that with an iPhone. Now this time I didn't want to use this. I wanted to try some other methods. So you also have the option to use your Google Sync backup, or you can just sign into your account and not have it restore anything. Now this time I did use the Google Drive Restore, so this will restore everything that you had backed up to your Google Drive. I have another video all about how to get that set up properly in the description below. So once you do that, it will then begin to download all the information that's backed up to your Google account, like your calendar, your contacts, other information that you have there, and it will even pull over text messages and other things. Now, while that is downloading all the information to your phone, let's move on to the next step, which is learning gestures for Android 10. So out of the box, this is what the phone looks like. You no longer have the home row down at the bottom. So to get to all your applications, all you do is swipe up and it will jump right into your app menu. And so this is an alphabetical order of all your applications. If you want to find an app, you can just simply search for the application and there it is, and then you can hold that down and add it to your home screen if you would like to. Now another gesture is the back button. So let's say we go somewhere and we want to go back. All you need to do is swipe from the left or the right of the screen and that will head back. So there was from the right side and there is from the left side as well. Now, one other feature that is on Android is this menu up here at the top. So to be able to get to that menu, you can now just swipe up at an angle instead of swiping directly over, and you will jump right into that extra menu. If we jump into the Play Store, we can see that that option is there where we can pull it out just like that. And we can do it up or down, and then if we go over, it will go back. So after using the side back gesture for a few days, I really like how that works. It's very simple and clean. The only problem I do have with these gestures is when you are swiping over like this, sometimes you'll swipe too far and you'll hit that back gesture. So that's the only thing that you do need to be careful of. Now the next part is learning how to go to the recent applications. So since you don't have that button there anymore, now you just pull up from the bottom and wait until you see the recent apps there, and then you can scroll through those recent applications. You do still have split screen where you can tap on the icon there and you can go into the split screen settings and you can go back and forth between applications. But to quickly jump back and forth, you can now swipe from the bottom to the left or right side. So if I swipe this way, it's going to jump to those other applications. And so it's going to keep them all aligned in a row and you can move back and forth. Now, if you want to go to the home screen, you would just swipe up again. So if you are in an application and you swipe up, that's just going to hide the application, go back to your home screen. If you would like to close that app, you can go and hold up, and then you swipe up again, and then it will close those applications. Now, there is this really cool option that when you are in the recent apps menu, you can still interact with that application. So let's say I want to copy some information into here. From here, I can now just hold down on there, and I can still select text, copy, move it over here, and then I could hold down and paste. So you have a lot of cool new options there. Now another gesture you can use from any screen is going to the Google Assistant. You can now just swipe up from the bottom corner and it will jump right into the Google Assistant. Now that can be done while in any application. You just swipe up from the bottom left or right and it jumps right into the Google Assistant. More on that in a minute. Now there are still some classic Android gestures. So if you pull down, it's going to go right to your notifications. And if you pull down again, it will show you your quick panel icon. But you can also do that by pulling down with two fingers from the top of the screen and jump right down. So here's one finger, it only goes down that much. Two fingers pulls that right open, brightness controls and everything is right there. Now, if you would like to use the navigation bar at the bottom instead of these gestures, you can go into the settings and then you can head down under the system settings. And then here you have the gestures. and you can change the system navigation from gestures to the 3-button navigation. Now I'm definitely going to keep the gesture navigation as that's what I prefer. Now you do have this other option here where you can change the back sensitivity. So if it's too sensitive whenever you're over on this side, I'm actually going to change mine to the lowest setting there because I have accidentally opened it a few times. Or if it's not working very good, you could set it all the way to high. So let's try that out on low, and then if I want to go back, I can just swipe like that. So that works great. And then here we have the rest of the gestures that we can use on the phone. So up at the top, we have some gestures that you can use using motion sense. So this will allow you to quickly change the song that you're listening to just by waving your hand over the phone. You can also silent notifications and calls just by doing that as well. But you would think that you would place your hand over the top bar here, but it's more over this area of the phone and maybe about 4 to 6 inches away. So let's start some music. So up at the top, you'll notice that the little white bar is glowing, and that's because this app supports the motion sense recognition and it is trying to detect motion. So let's skip through the next song. So there you go, first try. Again, no problem. If I want to go back or restart the song, just like that. I was trying it up way too high or too fast or something, and it just wasn't working very good. But I found this area right here where you're about this far away from the phone, it works really excellent. So after a bit of practice, I'm pretty happy with motion sense. Next we have Active Edge. Active Edge lets you squeeze the side of the phone to pull up the Google Assistant, so you can set the sensitivity there. You can squeeze for your assistant, you can allow it when the screen is off, and you can also squeeze to silence alarms and incoming calls. So just like that, there it popped up the Google Assistant. Next we have Jump to Camera, so you can just double tap the power button and go right to the camera. Next we have Flip Camera, so if you flip the phone twice, it will then jump to the front-facing camera. Next we have Tap to Check Phone, so if your phone's sitting there and you want to see some more information, you just tap the phone, or you can also just wave your hand close and motion sense will automatically pick up your hand. Next we have Lift to Wake, and when you do this, it will automatically open up the phone so that you can quickly get right into your device. And then lastly, we have Prevent Ringing. So this is a quick gesture you can use when pressing the power and the volume up at the same time, where you can then mute all your calls and notifications. So if you change the volume, you'll see this little vibrate option right here. And so you can tap to mute or go sound. So when you tap these two together, it will always vibrate calls and notifications. That's great if you're going into a meeting and you need to quickly silence your phone. Next up, we have securing your device with Face Unlock. Now, one of the things I really liked about the Pixel 3 XL was the fingerprint sensor on the back, but I've come to really like the secure settings on the Pixel 4. Now, if you didn't add this while setting up the phone, to do that, you just go into the settings of the device, and then we're going to scroll down to security. And now here you do have a screen lock option where you could choose the swipe, the pattern, the pin, or the password. But today we're going to set up the Face Unlock. So when you set this up, you have a few options. You can do Face Unlock with a pattern, a pin, or a password. Let's just choose pin today, and we're going to choose 4 zeros to make it super secure. So after you have done that, now you can choose to have it show all your notifications or hide sensitive options until it sees your face, or you could have it not show any notifications at all. So let's go ahead and show sensitive content only when unlocked. We're going to select next, and then here it tells you a little bit more about Face Unlock, how it can unlock your phone, sign into apps, confirm payments at a glance, and more. So here it says glasses and lightly tinted sunglasses are okay, and then here the information is only stored locally on the phone. You can delete it at any time. And then here there is a notice that you could unlock your phone without intending to. Other people with a similar face could unlock your phone, and it even works with your eyes are open or closed. But after using this for a while, the most important part is that your phone is locked if you have left it somewhere and nobody knows what you look like, so they couldn't get into your phone. But I've really enjoyed how quick this unlocks. So to get it set up, you're going to hold it up and then you're going to rotate your head to unlock all the squares to get it set up. So here, let's start. Okay, so let's start the process. And so it's a very slight tilt. You don't have to move very far. I'm going to move up. There we go. Once it sees all sides of your face, it is then complete. So now we have a few other options. So here we can unlock our phone with our face. Here we could have app sign in turned on, and then here you can skip the lock screen. So maybe you want it to just go right into the phone. You can set that as well. And then here you do have an option where you could have it confirm confirmation of your face unlock when you're doing that, but I'm going to keep that off. And then if you want to delete your face data, you do have that option right there. All right, so let's lock the phone and try this out. So there, when we lock the phone and we try to unlock it, you see it is locked. And then if I tilt it up to see my face, there it quickly unlocks right into the phone. Now, if you would like to unlock the phone in other ways, you can actually use Smart Lock, where it will actually unlock if you have a smartwatch or something, or you turn on body detection or trusted devices, you can do that right here. But so far, the face unlock has worked really well. Now for number 3, make sure you enable this before you go into any of your applications. So we're going to swipe back into the settings, and we're going to scroll down and go into System Settings. And here under Language and Input, we have Advanced Settings, and we're going to turn on what is called Autofill Service. So Autofill Service is able to pull all of your logins saved to your Google account. So this will allow you to quickly log into the applications you previously used on your other phone or Chrome or any of the other Chrome browsers. So here we're going to click Settings, make sure that's enabled. So then once we head into an application where it requires us to sign into our account, all we will need to do is select Sign In. And then in the box where it asks for our email address, you'll see this little pop-up here that says there's information stored on your account. Once I tap that, it puts in my username as well as my password, and then I can quickly sign in. So that will save you a ton of time when signing back into all your different applications. So for number 4, we're going to customize our home screen as well as add some really cool personalization that you can do. Now, one thing that wasn't backed up or restored during the backup process is the home screen settings. So every time you get a Pixel right now, you do have to go through and reset this every time. So the first thing that we're going to do is add some applications to our home screen, put them in folders, and do a few things like that. So let's go to this Google home page where I want to add some smart home applications. So let's say I want to add the Android TV application. I can do it just by holding down and dragging it to the home screen. But if you want to find any other applications, I do have a lot of apps on here, so it's quite the list. The other option you do have is you can just tap the search bar, and then let's say I want to find the Harmony app. There it is. I can hold it down and then drag it onto the home screen as well. So that's the quickest way to find the apps. And then if you want to add those apps to the same folder, you just hold down and drag one on top of the other. It puts them in a folder, and then here we can name the folder and we can call it Remote. Just like that, adds the name, and then we're done. So let me go through and add some applications to this page. Now that I have a few more applications, we can actually customize this a bit further with some of what are called quick actions. So let's say I open up my cameras here and I have the Nest application. If I long press on that app, I get a few different options. So one, I actually see a notification right there, but then down here I have the option to see the different Nest devices that I have. So let's say I want to add a quick action to the front door. So if I hold this down, it then creates a shortcut to open my front door. So now if I tap on that, it's going to open up the app and go right into the front door. So now I can see everything right there. So certain applications have more settings than others. And then there's another application like the Lutron application here, where when I hold down, it's showing me the option for widgets. So instead of going into the settings and looking for all the widgets, I can just select widgets right there, and then it gives me the option to open up one of these Lutron widgets. So I could hold this down and then drag it on any part of the screen. Now, when you are moving widgets around, everything else will move out of the way. So just make sure that you put it in the right place so it doesn't kind of ruin what you already have, or you can go up here and select cancel just like that. So some of these have other options as well. So like here with Google Drive, if I long press up here, I have a timer. So that actually allows you to pause the application. So if you don't want the app to work for a little while or pull down data, you could pause that app. And then over here, we have that widgets icon as well. So it just pulls up the widgets right there. So you would have to go through, take some time to organize it exactly the way you want it. Sometimes I like to just have a few apps on one screen, or I like to have one screen that just has a ton of different folders. So you can personalize it exactly the way you want that to be done. So now to customize this a bit further, let's go into the home screen settings. You do that by finding a blank part on the screen, long pressing, and then here you have some options. So first, let's start with home screen settings. So here you can have it show notification dots if you want to see if there's any missed messages. Here you have at a glance. So that's the little bar at the top. You can have it show calendar events, upcoming flight information, and traffic info. I really like that there. Then here you could have it automatically add new apps to the home screen. Here you can have it display the Google app on the left side. I'll show you that in a second. Here you can have it show different suggestions and everything, or here you can allow the home screen screen to be rotated. So pretty basic on what you can do there, but that's where all those settings are. So here, if we swipe here, it's going to jump right into the Google application. Now let's go into the next setting there. So if we long press, we now have the widgets. So this gives you the full widgets of all the applications that you have installed on your phone. So you can browse through easily and see all these. I kind of like how it's laid out. So here for the Google application, I can go through and see all these different widgets that I could use for that app. So whenever you add a new app, you can quickly come in here and see what widgets are added within that application. So if we want to add one of these to our home screen, so here under Maps, we have a bunch of different options here. Let's say I want to see the traffic. I can hold this down, drop it right there on the screen, and now I have a quick shortcut to open Maps and look at the traffic. So lastly, when we long press here, we have styles and wallpaper. So this is where you can really personalize how your phone looks. So up here, it's showing the current wallpaper for the lock screen and the current wallpaper for the home screen. Now, if you scroll down, you have a few different options. So one is you can actually select from your own photos, or here you can choose other wallpapers that are preset. Some of these are live wallpapers, like the one I have right here. You can actually see a boat that is kind of roaming around on the screen. And there's some other ones where the ocean is moving or cars are driving around, and it's really fun to have. So let's go ahead and choose this Come Alive. So in here, we have a lot of cool different options that will automatically move with our phone. You even have this new Pikachu one and different Pokemon that you can interact with, and there's some other options down here. So with this, it's actually really cool because you can really personalize how this looks. So right here we have the doodle wallpaper. So you can see as I'm moving my hand, it is actually adjusting the wallpaper. So instead of having to move my phone around, it all works based on where my hand is. So I can come over here to customize, and I can personalize the colors that are showing up. So there's a few cool options there. And then here I could do the do it yourself. So then if I draw, it will actually add the wallpaper based on where I have drawn. So I like this one. We're going to select preview, so I could see what it's actually going to look like. So just a few bubbles there. I can go in and add a bit more, and then I could set that as the wallpaper if I wanted to. So here with the Pokemon Sidekick, you have this option as well. So you can double tap to change the Pokemon, and then you can play different games with them where you can wave to them, and you can see it does that. I can also pet them. Gives you a little few hearts. So a lot of fun little things that you can do with the wallpaper settings here on the Pixel 4. And then moving down, there are a lot of options for other landscapes and just different wallpapers that look really good without you having to go and download third-party applications. And then here you do have the option to look at any other live wallpapers that you have installed. I actually have this Magic Fluid live wallpaper that interacts with your touch, which is really fun. Or I really like the Living Universe wallpaper. So this is where things are going to be moving on the screen. Right there you can see that the ocean is moving. So let's set that as our wallpaper. You have the option for the home screen or the home and lock screen. So let's just choose home screen. And now you can see that whenever I'm on my home screen, you can see the water is moving there, and it just looks really crisp and clean. So the last setting that you have within the styles and wallpapers is over here under style. So right now my icons are all circular. This is what they look like. And then at the top, if we scroll through here, we can see what the font and different icons look like. But down here, you have the option to choose a different style. So let's go back to the main page here. If I tap on this one, you can see that the icon style has changed. You can also see some of the font has changed and some of the other icons. So you can quickly jump back and forth to find the one you like the best. So there you have the square home screen icon. You have this other one, and then you have plus. So you could actually go in and do a little more customization on the font that you like. You could choose your own icons that you want to use. And then here you can even choose the color on top, which is really cool for total customization of the phone without having to download any third-party applications. So I do like the circular shape there. That looks really good. And so there would be my custom style, or I can just go back and then choose one of the styles they already have. And then here, if you want to keep the current wallpaper, you would select that and select apply. So that's how you fully customize your applications as well as your wallpaper. So now I'm going to move to the quick settings. So quick settings are when you pull this down, and here you have all these settings up here. Now it's a little bit different here on Pixel than other Samsung phones that I used. So if you just tap on one of these, it's going to turn on and off. So there, if we tap on auto rotate, it's going to quickly turn on and off. The same with the flashlight. There is no other option where you can go and adjust the different brightness of the flashlight. But if you do hold down on an option, it will take you into the further settings. So if I hold down on auto rotate, it's going to take me into the display settings where I can see all of those different settings right there. Let's say I want to adjust my Wi-Fi settings. I can hold down on that. It's going to take me right into the Wi-Fi. So one more thing you can do with the quick panel is right here, you can click the edit button and you can choose what shows up at the top. So if you want the flashlight to be one of the first things you see, you would want to move it there. I've actually been using the cast screen a lot, so I'm going to hold this down and move it up here. I don't use auto rotate that much, but I'm going to leave it kind of up higher. And then here you have some others that maybe were downloaded with other applications, or they are just not as useful. I actually like to move the location down here so I don't actually turn it off. Maybe you want it off and you never want to touch it. You could move it down here as well. So then you have a few other options. Let's actually move this live caption up. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And if you want to completely reset it, you can select the reset right there. So now that that's done, you can see it adjusted how everything looks. If I want to quickly turn one on and off, you can do that. You can see the dark theme is enabled. So these are the main settings you're going to want to quickly have access to. So here you can really personalize it. So when you pull it down, it's going to show those 6 icons. So now you can see my flashlights there, as well as cast screen, instead of having to pull this down and swipe over to find the exact setting that you want to quickly change. So that's the quick panel settings. Now next we're going to personalize our keyboard. So one of the cool things is that on the Pixel, the Gboard is pre-installed. This is the keyboard that I really like to use. So if you just tap anywhere where you need text, it will pull open the keyboard options. So a few cool things with this is you can quickly swipe, and then it's going to give you recommendations up here. And then you can tap here to do voice typing. So I can talk and it will then write out whatever I say. And then over here, you have some options where you can quickly use a Google search to find different GIFs and other little pictures there. But what I want to do is really make this keyboard look the way I want it to look and have a few more settings. I'm coming from a Samsung phone where they have a ton of options right here on the keyboard instead of having to go through multiple menus. So we're going to fix that right now. So what you want to do is on the comma right here, you're going to long press and then it's going to go into the settings. So at the top, we have the option to choose multiple keyboards. I just want English QWERTY, so we're going to keep it like that. Here we have a few other preferences. So the first thing is I like to have a number row. So sometimes you'll see the numbers behind what is currently showing, but I like my own number row. So I'm going to turn that on. Here you have the emoji switch key. So that allows you to quickly jump to the emoji keyboard. And then here's an option for show emojis in symbols keyboard. So we're going to turn that on as well so we can get to the emojis there. You could change the layout from left-handed to right-handed, or you can just keep that off. Here you can change the height of the keyboard. So we're just going to keep this at a normal height. Here you can have it automatically switch to dark theme when it's in battery saver mode. So we're going to keep that on. Next, you have the option to turn on sound on key press. Never touch that button right there. Next, we have haptic feedback on keyboard. When you turn this on, you feel a little vibrate every time you tap the keyboard. This really adds a nice experience to typing on the keyboard. So I do turn that on. And then here you have the vibration strength on key press. So you could increase that, but we're gonna just keep it at the default for what it is now. And then here you have the pop-up on key press. And then here is the long press for symbols. So I like to long press down so it pops up the symbol without me having to go into other menus. So let's look at the progress our keyboard has made. We have the number rows, we have the icons behind the keys there so that we can quickly see if we want to type an @ symbol, we can quickly do that as well. So here is the emoji switch button, so I can quickly jump back and forth between the emoji. And then if I go through, you can see that the emojis are showing up there now. So let's head back into the settings, and now we're going to choose a theme. So you have a bunch of different themes where it's going to personalize the backdrop of your keyboard here. So you could choose all kinds of different colors. I really like this one right here. And then you could add the keyboard borders there if you wanted to, but we're going to keep it like that. And I'm going to select apply. And then you have the other option up here at the top where if you want to add your own picture to the keyboard, you would be able to do that. And then there you can see what it's going to look like, and you can add brightness to the picture or keep it kind of low. But that's a fun way to really personalize your keyboard. But again, I like this little blue one there. So we're going to go back. Here we have the text correction. So there's a lot of settings here I'm not going to get into, but you could adjust this if it's not giving you the best experience when you are typing on your keyboard. So here you have glide typing or the swipe feature. So you could adjust if there's a trail or some other features there. And then here you have voice typing. So this one is really important. So I already showed you how you can talk to the phone and it will convert your voice into text. Well, with the Pixel 4, you have this new faster voice typing option. So you're definitely going to want to turn that on. And then here you can make sure that it has downloaded the proper keyboard. So here the US English keyboard is already selected. And then we're going to go back. And now let's try out the difference between this and a phone that doesn't have the faster voice typing. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dogs. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? So there you can see that this keeps up with exactly what I'm saying. This one follows a little bit behind, but they both are doing a pretty good job. But this is like, as soon as I say the word, it's popping it out there. Now let's also do a comparison of the faster voice recognition versus me just using swipe and typing out. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dogs. Pretty good. I would say voice recognition is way faster, so I don't even know why I type on the keyboard anymore. Now there are a ton of other cool tricks that you can do with the Gboard, but one thing that I really like is if you hold down on the backspace and you drag, you can then select a bunch of text at once, just like that. Also, if you drag on the keyboard, you can then reposition to exactly where you want to be, and then you can type or delete from there. Right here, you are getting some recommended words, but if you tap the little arrow there, you have a few other options here. So you could quickly do a Google search. You can pull up different little stickers there. And then here you have the GIF keyboard. So it's going to pull up where you can actually search through all the different GIFs. Now next, you do want to make sure you come in here and click the little paste icon here to turn on the clipboard. So if we turn on the clipboard, then when you copy something, it will save up to 10 different copies that you have done. So if you have something saved in your clipboard, you can just tap on this, it will paste it. You could also hold down, you can paste it from there, you can pin it, or you can delete that information. And then to see more options, you have the 3-dot menu there. And let's say there are some of the things that you do want to use or don't want to use. So you do have the option to change your theme quickly, one-handed option. I want to use text editing, so I'm going to drag this up to the bar, and you can see that one of them moved down. So you really have to just choose what you would like to use the most, and you'll have to play with all of these to figure out what is best for you. But let me show you what the text editing icon does real quick. So it allows you to find the exact text you want. You can quickly select all, you can delete all, you can paste. So it's really cool to quickly go through all of those settings right there. And that is how you fully customize Gboard. So next we're going to turn on live captions. So first let me show you how to turn it on, and then let me show you what it does. So if you head into the settings of your phone, you're going to go into accessibility, and then we're going to head down, and here you will see the live caption option. So what live caption does is it allows you to listen to something on your phone without having the audio on. So let's say you're watching something like Instagram stories, but you don't have headphones, it's too loud, and you want to hear what they are saying. So if you turn on live caption, it will then show a caption of what is being said on the screen without your volume on. So here you have a few other options. Right now it is only available in English. You could have it hide profanities. You can also have it show sound labels, like if it's playing music or if there's an applause. And then here you have live caption in volume control. So let me show you how this works. So for this demo, let's head into YouTube. So if I'm on a video, I turn the volume all the way down. Here we can see that the live caption is on. If I tap on it, it turns it off. So let's keep that on. And then let's play a video here from Snazzy Labs. And as he is talking, we can see the caption pop up right on the screen. Now, if I move this up and down, I could move it into a different location. And then also, if I double tap, it's going to pull up a bigger portion so I could read a little bit more. So this is super handy to have if you're watching a video. Maybe you don't want to use whatever caption service is there. It gives you your own caption, and it actually works really well. So even after leaving the video, because it is still playing in the background with YouTube Premium, it is still listening to what is being said and giving me the captions based on the video, which that's actually really powerful. So if I double tap, it will then shrink down again. And to turn this off, I would just need to change the volume and select live caption off. Or I could also do it in the quick panel settings up here at the top. So for number 8, let's talk about the Google Assistant 2.0. Again, to activate, you just swipe up from the bottom corner, and there you can see that it's listening to me. Now the other option is I can squeeze and it will activate as well. But there are some really cool things that you can do with Google Assistant 2.0. So let's say at any time you want to search for something, swipe up. What's the weather like tomorrow? And there you can see it's giving you information based off of whatever you asked. Now, if you head into your profile and you actually go into the assistant And then we're going to scroll down here and go to phone. You have a few new settings that I haven't seen before. So right here you have speech output. So you could have it be a full speech output, a brief, or none unless you are hands-free. So with brief and asking for the weather, it doesn't say anything. It just shows you the weather on screen. If you give the full access to the speech output, then it will tell you everything that would show up on screen. So next, let's try something new like ordering tickets. Buy tickets for the Addams Family. So here it's going to pop up local show times today, so I could choose any of these. I like a Cinemark, so we're going to go to the 6:10 showing tonight. And then here it pulls up many different options you could use, but we're going to select the Cinemark website right here. So it's going to open the website. Now, the first time I did this, it was a little confusing whether it had my information logged in or not. But when it first pulls it up, you may want to tap off the screen and then go into the menu and sign into your account so that you get all your points and everything. But let's go through this process. I'm going to select continue, and then here it's asking me to find the seats, so I could zoom in on what seats I want, and then I select done, so I wanted 2 seats, and those are going to be general admission. I select continue, and then it pulls up the final option here, which would be the payment. So then it's giving you the information up here at the top of everything that you selected, the time, the date, the price, and then here it is asking for my payment method. So that's actually really cool. Something that I would definitely use, and it is becoming more of an actual assistant where it can do things that may take multiple steps, like going into the application, logging in, and all that stuff. It is able to do that all on its own without any of that extra user input, and it will guide you through that input as well. So the new Google Assistant has been really cool. There's actually one more feature we need to enable to unlock the full potential of Google Assistant 2.0. So shout out to Scott from the Google Pixel Phone Help Forums that pointed me to this thread where you can actually go in here and turn on continued conversation. So as how you do that is we activate Google Assistant, open Assistant Settings. So when you do that, it takes you to this assistant menu that I had never seen before where you can activate Google, you can squeeze for assistant, but then here you can turn on continued conversation. And then here you could go into the full settings, which we've seen before. So now that that's on, let's give it a try. Turn on the office lights. Turn on the studio lights. What's the weather like tomorrow? Thank you. So just like that, that's how you can do continued conversation on the Pixel 4. Now, you may have noticed there was no voice feedback as I mentioned before. So let's go back into the assistant settings and turn that on. So if you go into assistant, go to phone, and then down here we have speech output, and let's put full, and let's try this again. What's the weather like tomorrow?
Tomorrow in Orem, it'll be sunny with a high of 52 and a low of 30.
Turn off the studio lights.
Sure, turning GE light off.
Set a reminder to buy Halloween candy.
Alright, buy Halloween candy. When do you want to be reminded?
Tomorrow at 5 p.m.
Sure, I'll remind you tomorrow at 5 p.m.
And there you have full Google Assistant with speech response right on the phone. Now at first when I tried to use the Assistant, I was just seeing the old Assistant that I'm used to on all the phones. If you're not seeing this new 2.0 version, you will probably need to remove a G Suite email account that you have on your phone. So the main email that I use, I had to take that off so that I could access these features. So that's a downside. They said that there's going to be a fix, but as of right now, it will not work with G Suite accounts. Now, number 9, the settings you will want to change is in the camera. So we've already set up the double tap to jump right in the camera, but one of the cool things now is if you swipe down, you can quickly adjust your settings right here. So at the top, you have the motion photo option. So that means it's going to record a little bit before you take a photo. So you could turn that off. You can have that on auto, or you can have that always on. So then next you have timer, so you could quickly set a 3-second or 10-second, and then here you have flash, and then here you could adjust the ratio of the picture. So you could do a full image, or you could do the cropped image. And then if you go into settings, you have a few more settings here. So you can have it save location. You can have camera sounds on or off. We're going to turn that off. Here you could have Google Lens suggestions. So I was taking a picture of my computer earlier and it wanted to scan an image, which was cool. And then here you have some framing hints, like some of the things that is shown is if I was at a too low of an angle, it says raise your phone higher. So those are some really fun things that you have there. But one of my favorite parts within the camera is this new social share. So you can have it so as soon as you take a picture, it pops up an option to share it with certain applications. So right now, these are all the different applications it has. It doesn't have Google Voice, a little sad there, but maybe that's Google Voice's problem. So that's really cool. And then here you have gestures. So you can choose to have the volume key do something. So right now it's set to take a picture. You could have it change the volume or zoom. And then here you have double tap, which would zoom in. And then scrolling down here, you can set the camera resolution. So we're going to keep that at full resolution. And then here you can set the ultra high resolution. So record in 4K. If you do 4K, it is 30 frames a second. 4K 60 frames a second does take up a ton of space. That's what I'm recording this video on, and it's a lot. So it's okay that that's not there, but you do have the option for 4K at least. And then here you can turn on the video stabilization. So going back, let's say I want to zoom in. I just double tap. You can see it zooms right into 2x. Double tap again. It goes back to 1x. And then if I flip the phone like that, it will go to the home screen. And I can double tap to do that as well. And then down here, you have all the other camera settings. So you can do the portrait, which is kind of the like blurred background option. You have night sight, which takes really good photos in low light. You have video, and then you have more photosphere, slow motion, playground, all those. I really love the playground. We were having so much fun at the park the other night, throwing Pikachu out and some of the Avengers, and that's just really fun.
We're gonna be great partners.
And then Lens is able to help you search for different items. So far, it's been okay. So there, oh, look at that. It found the Pixel stand. Awesome. So then when moving to video, we have the same option where you can pull down. And right now it's showing flash. If I turn off the 4K and I pull down, here it's showing the option of doing a frame rate of 30 frames a second or 60 frames a second. 60 frames allows you to slow it down later, or you just have a much more smooth motion video. So that is the camera. Really, you're going to be taking a ton of photos like this. So far, I think they look really good. Speaking of photos, the last setting that you must change is going into the Photos application and making sure that it is backing up to your Google Photos account. If it doesn't give you that option, select the menu right here, and you can see the account that I'm logged into, and then I can select settings, and then here I have backup and sync, and just make sure that is on. So here when I select the upload quality, it is high quality, so an unlimited of high quality photos. You could have it choose original quality. That's just going to take up too much space, and you really don't need that super high quality resolution unless you're going to be printing off your pictures really big or something like that. Another setting you may want to change right here is backing up different folders. So let's say you download some things and you want those to back up. You would want to turn on these different folders so that it would automatically back those up as well. So now heading back into the main page of Google Photos, here you can see it's just showing all your photos. One thing I did notice is sometimes when I take a screenshot, it has not been showing up here. It's kind of organizing it all automatically. But if you go under albums, here you can see that there is that screenshot folder there, and there's the download and just other folders that I have on my phone. And then down here, you can see all the different albums that I have created. Now, Google Photos is pretty cool. You can come down here and I could select a bunch of different videos and pictures. And then at the top, I can click plus and then quickly create an album, share the album, create a movie, an animation, or a collage. So you have a lot of photos settings right in there. One other new feature that has been added to the Google Photos application is when you select a picture with text, you can quickly copy the text by selecting that option. And then here I could select any of the text there and then copy it right to my clipboard. So that's really cool. So with the Google Photos app on a Pixel versus like a Samsung phone, Samsung usually has Google Photos and then the gallery. Well, with a Pixel, it's all stored in one. So let's say I select a picture and go to the menu. Here I have the option to delete from the device. So that means it's actually backed up to the cloud and on the phone. But if I go to another picture and select menu, here you can see that it just says save to device. So that means it's on the cloud, but not on the phone. So it may seem a little confusing, but it's really good at automatically managing what is on your phone, and it won't delete anything unless you tell it to. So if I swipe down here at the top, I could actually free up space off my phone because it knows what photos are already in the cloud. So if I click that button, it will free up space, and then I still have access to all those photos right here within the Google Photos application. So I know that was already 10 settings, but I want to show you one really cool thing, which is the Recorder application. So here within the Recorder application, I can then now record audio, and it will begin automatically transcribing whatever I say into audio. So here you can see it's recording just like any other audio recorder, but if I tap over here into the transcript, it has taken everything that I've said and put it down here on the screen. So this is great maybe if you want to do a blog, but you don't want to type it out. You could bring it all into here so you can see everything so simple without you having to type it. I know that talking for me is much faster than typing, so it all shows up right in here. So let's say I make a few notes here. I want to talk about recording. I want to make sure that I talk about how this app works and it saves everything. So all right, I think that's done. So I'm going to select stop. I can add a title. So we'll call this test 3. Sure, why not? I could add some keywords there and then select save. Now if I open up this, I can see the audio, so I could listen to it, or I can go to the transcript. But the really important thing is I can select search right here. So let's say I want to search for recording. So now it's going to go through and find all of the recordings there. And then down here, it's showing everywhere I said recording. So there at the end, I said recording. If I go to the audio, I could listen to that part, and you can see it's highlighted in yellow where I searched for recording. So a really powerful recording application. So I'm going to take all kinds of notes in here now. So now that I don't have to manually search through my audio to find a specific note, I'm definitely going to be using this a lot more as I can search through all the text that it has transcribed on the spot, which is just a really cool feature. And so those are the first 10 settings that I would change on your new Google Pixel 4 or Pixel 4 XL. If you have any further questions, please let me know in the comments, and thank you to Google for letting me be a part of Team Pixel. To see how to transfer everything from your old phone to your new phone with the cable or through Google Backup, make sure you check out the videos over there on the side. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.